You join me today for an FA Cup quarter-final draw and a Europa League round 16 doubleheader. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of Irons in the Fire, where we try and make West Ham good and great again. My name's Mark, and on today's episode we have for you, as mentioned in the preamble, we have the FA Cup quarter-final draw coming up in just a moment. But on the game side of today's episode, we have both legs of the Europa League round of 16. First leg is away in Lens, and then they come back to the London Stadium. But before we go any further, if you enjoyed today's episode, leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, leave me some comments, let me know how you think this series is going, and also what you'd like to see me do next on our next save here on FM24. Before we do anything else, let's go and have that draw for the quarter-final of the FA Cup, having got past Plymouth in the last episode. I'll hand you to Past Mark. And thank you to Future Mark for the intro. And here we are with the draw for the Emirates FA Cup quarter-final. Having beaten Plymouth in the last episode, we'll get the draw underway. 8 teams for 4 games, and the teams in the draw are Aston Villa, Liverpool, Manchester United, Norwich, Nottingham Forest, Reading, Southampton and West Ham. Manchester United would go alongside this game, which we'll show in the episode after this one. And if we were to draw Manchester United, it would be a Manchester United double header, one in the cup, one in the league. Right, let's get the draw underway then. Nottingham Forest are first out, and they will play Manchester United. We won't be meeting them twice in a row, that is for sure. Reading, the only side I think that are Championship, possibly Southampton Championship. In fact, Reading are in Sky Bet 1. They're the lowest side here left in the FA Cup. Who will they play? They will play Aston Villa. Reading and Aston Villa then. Liverpool. Who are they going to play? They're going to play Southampton of the Championship. Which means still in the pot, Norwich and West Ham, which means we will play Norwich. Will we be home or will we be away? We are away. A trip to Carrow Road for a game against Norwich, Championship Norwich. And just confirmation as we come out, there is the draw for the quarterfinals. Nottingham Forest will play Manchester United. Reading will play Aston Villa. Liverpool will play Southampton. And Norwich will play West Ham. No Manchester City, of course, got knocked out in that last round. I'll hand you back to Future Mark. And a big thank you to Past Mark for that draw. Let's have a quick look then and see what has happened to the schedule. And as you will see, Norwich, who we've drawn in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, are dropped in there, which means our next episode will be Norwich City and Manchester United. Norwich City, Manchester United currently in third place, and Norwich City, can we get through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup? We did in our other save, Project Turnaround. Can we do it again in this save? We'll find out in the next episode. This episode, of course, as I say, Lens, but we have played one match since the Newcastle Plymouth. It was a Premier League game against Arsenal. Unfortunately, we went and lost it. A penalty given away. Alvarez tripping Martinelli after 3 minutes, and Saka duly putting the goal away. Declan Rice, ex-West Ham, of course, come back to haunt us, and he scored a second after 16 minutes, and it took us until the 70th minute to get a consolation goal from Thomas Souček. A 2-1 loss in that situation. We had 10 shots, 5 on target, so plenty of opportunities, just didn't take them. 1.34 and 38% of the possession, so we didn't have high possession, but we did have shots and we did have them on target, but just didn't put them away, basically. They had 5 shots, 3 on target, of which they took, say 2. They certainly took one of those opportunities, 1.38 on the XG and 62% of the possession. That's a double loss to Arsenal this season. We haven't lost many games, but the last time we lost in all competitions was against Arsenal back in December, and we've lost to them again, rather annoyingly. So not something that we want to do. Hopefully we can have a decent run in now to the end of the season. Having said that, though, we do have Manchester United, as I say, in the next episode, and Manchester City and Liverpool. So we've got some toughies coming up in due course. Right. Let's get on. Excuse me, frog in the throat. Let's get on with what we're doing here. Of course, we have the Europa League, and Lens came through the knockout stages. If we have a quick look, they beat Copenhagen in 2 legs. I think it must have been 3-2. So it must have been 2-0 after the first leg. They lost the second leg 2-1, but it ended up 3-2. So they got through by virtue of that. How did they do? Can we see how they got in their group? Where is their group? Let's have a quick look. See if we can find them. Lens. Or are they one of the sides that dropped out of the... because some of the sides do drop it. Let's have a quick look at... you got to remember how to do this stages. Round of 16. Knockout round. Were Lens in the... could have been in the Champions League. That's what I was trying to think of. Get it right, Mark. I think they must have been in the Champions League, because they don't appear in here anywhere. So I'm thinking they must have been in the Champions League, and they are one of the sides that dropped through the Champions League, which seems a bit odd that they've come in by that way. But not clear as to... I will check it out between games and try and fathom out how they appeared in this particular this competition, and how they got through. As we know, they beat Copenhagen in the knockout round to get through to the last 16. What do we know about them? We don't know a great deal about them. We do know that we are at the Stadia Bollaert details, and that is where we're going today. We haven't played them before, obviously, in this series, so a bit unknown. We do know that Walker Farenz is doubtful with a damaged cruciate ligament, and Danny Ings is out with a twisted ankle. That's the team news. Let's go and have a look at the team that will face Lens. And here is the side that will face Lens in this Europa League. I did do a little bit of research before we came into this, after trying to work out how they got through to this particular last 16 of the Europa League. They did. They were in the Champions League. They were in the same group as Manchester United and Sevilla, finishing third in that group, which is how they ended up dropping down into the Europa League. So that's how they've ended up on today's match. Areola then is in goal. Emerson, Friedel, Zuma and Kufal are defensive line. Souček, Ward-Prowse and Alvarez are our midfield. Kudus is back in. He's sat behind Bowen and Watkins up front. Trott, Mavropanos, Kamada, Thomas, Carrera, Fernels, Paqueta, Creswell, Scarles, Benrahma and Johnson all on the bench. Oh, and we've got one other, Neves, making his debut in the senior team. Just say that Aaron Creswell is having desperate trouble trying to get back into the side. He's being kept out by Emerson at the moment. And, out of choice, I think I would probably pay Creswell because he just seems to cross the ball a bit better. But my assistant manager keeps telling me to play Emerson. So Emerson gets the nod once again. And here we are in Lens, and this is the team that we will face, playing a flat back three and two wing backs. And we are playing our, by now, usual formation, 4-3-1-2. Confirmation of those teams for you as the two teams come onto the pitch. One corner of the ground there, not got any crowd in it for some reason. I don't know if that's segregation. Our first highlight comes just 2 minutes in. It's Friedel with a long throw looking for Zuma, I think it was. Zuma and Souček there. Kudos goes on a bit of a run. He's cut into the area. He's had a go, but it was a bit tame, really. Straight into the arms of Samba. We'll see it again. Kudos. No, it's on a bit of a run. All the way round. Long way round. Straight into Samba. They have a corner now. Nearly 18 minutes on the clock. Nuak swings it in. It's headed clear by Zuma, but only back to Nuak. And Nuak's on a run. He's had a shot and he scored. And Lens go in front on 19 minutes. We let him have a lot of space there. Zuma getting rid of it. Kudos goes out to meet, but just let Nuak run, basically. Oh, it took a deflection. It was going down the middle, and it took a bit of a deflection off of Souček and beat Areola. We have a corner. Ward-Prowse swings it in. It's headed clear. Zuma has it, though. Zuma, what's Zuma going to do? He's gone a long way round as well, but it's trying to get it in. Kudos trying to get a foot on it. It's gone out for a corner on the other side. Bowen will take the corner on that far side. Swings it in. It's deep. Looking for somebody at the back post, but it's gone out for a throw. Ward-Prowse headed away by Bardelis. And Zuma, say, going the long way round. In the end, cuts it back. And I think it was Watkins, actually. Half-time arrives. No more highlights. We've been all right in that first half. Certainly came into our own towards the end of the half. But we've not put any of our chances away. We've had 10 shots, 5 on target, 1.51 and 57% of the possession. They've had 6 shots, just the 1 on target, which was the goal, 0.72. We need to get at least a goal back. And I think the worst we want is to go back to the London Stadium 1-1. Well, with 67 minutes on the clock, we're making 3 changes at this juncture in time. We are we are taking off Jarrod Bowen, who once again just seems to be off of form at the minute. I'm going to drop him from the next couple of games just to give him a bit of a wake-up call. Kudos moves from the shadow striker role up front alongside Watkins. Kamada comes in as the attacking playmaker. And the other changes we've made is Thomas Souček, who's got a yellow card and not playing particularly well. And Tarin, we've replaced him with Carrera. And Vladimir Kufal has come off. He's Tarin. And we've replaced him with Ben Johnson. Ball back to Samba. Our first highlight of this second half. Kamada, Alvarez, Carrera. Carrera puts that into space for Kudus. Kudus didn't look as if he was going to run on for it. Kudus gets into the area. He's pulled it back for Emerson. And Carrera! Second goal of the season. And we've got an equaliser after 73 minutes. Can we go on and win this one and bring back a lead to the London Stadium? Just what we asked for. Kudus held that ball up just long enough. And Carrera got a little bit of deflection. And as their goal was lucky, so was ours. And with 79 minutes on the clock, making our final two changes, we have taken off Kurt Zuma in defence. Mavropanos comes on for him. And we've also taken off Emerson, who's had a good game, to be fair to him, but he is tiring. And Aaron Creswell comes on to replace him. And it's all over, and it's a 1-1 draw at the end of the first leg. We've managed to get ourselves back on terms after 73 minutes. A lot of huff and puff, and it was Thilo Carrera who got us back in the game. And as you'll see from the analysis here, we had, apart from probably 15 minutes, we had most of the game, just couldn't find a way through their defence. Obviously very dogged and very good. They had 7 shots, just that one on target, which was their goal. 0.85 on the XG. We had 14 shots, 7 on target, 50%. Only 2 in the second half on target. One of those a goal. 1.86 on the XG. Probably should have got a second goal. 54% of the possession. I think a 1-1 draw is probably a fair reflection of the game, to be fair. Well, we've got a match in 3 days against Luton Town, and then we'll come back for the second leg of the Europa League there at the London Stadium. So coming back for that in just a moment. But I just realised that we didn't do a recap on the Premier League at the start of the episode. So just to recap then, having lost that match against Arsenal in the last round of games, we are still top on 63, but Manchester City, with a game in hand now, are just 2 points behind us, which means we will drop back into second place. If they were to win that game in hand, they would sit on top with 64 points. So we lost that little bit of advantage where they lost that game. We needed to keep going, winning, and a loss isn't the best. Manchester United in third on 59 points. Then Liverpool are fourth on 58. So a little bit of a gap between us and them at the moment. But we can't afford to lose too many more, otherwise they will catch us. That is the Champions League spaces, of course. Just outside of the Champions League spaces, 10 points away from us. So I'm thinking that we've got a decent cushion. We should end up in the Champions League spot at the very least. Tottenham in 5th. Arsenal, who we lost that last game to, in 6th place on 48 points. And then outside the European places, Aston Villa in 7th on 44 points. Then come Newcastle, Everton, Brentford, Chelsea, who are not having a good season at all. Crystal Palace, Wolves, Burnley, Bournemouth, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and in the drop zone at the moment, Sheffield United, Luton Town, Fulham back on the bottom, and some 9 points adrift of the bottom there. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games, which isn't helping them at all. Luton Town, who we play in the in-between game, off camera, they're down in 19th, so I'm hoping that we can pick up a result. We haven't lost to them. I mean, they've lost. The wins they had is Fulham, Manchester United, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest. So that is how that is happening. So I just thought I'd bring you up to date with that. Right then, we're going to go and play Luton. I will come back shortly after that, let you know how we got on against Luton, how that's affected the table, and set ourselves up ready for the game against Lens. Well, we still haven't played the game against Luton, but I do come back because there is a scoreline that is quite key to how our season is going. Manchester United have played. They've lost to Tottenham by 3-0, which means that we stay 4 points in front of them with a game in hand. But more key is the fact that Manchester City have only managed a 2-2 draw, or as was, against Fulham, who were on the bottom of the table, which means that they have now played the same amount of games as us. That's a game in hand, and we are 1 point in front of them. We will play again before they do, but as long as we can beat Luton Town, we should have a 4-point gap over Manchester City at the top of the table with 9 games to play. So it's I won't say looking good, but it's certainly a positive that Manchester City have slipped up again, and we need to take full advantage of it. And you come back and join me just ahead of the second leg of the Lens game. And we can tell you that we beat Luton Town by 1-0, but it was hard work. Ollie Watkins getting the goal after 69 minutes. And yeah, it wasn't one of our finest hours. Having said it again, we had 24 shots, 13 on target, 4.49 on the XG. We should have really, and 64% of the possession, we should have really rammed them. But as it was, we didn't, as you'll see. I think they only had about 10 minutes of the game in the middle of that first half. We really should have just blown them away, but we found it very difficult. And they're another side that played a flat back three and 2 wing backs, and we seem to struggle with this formation. We seem to struggle against that that sort of thing. We don't seem to be able to break them down, but anyway, we got the win. That was the main thing, and we've yeah, managed to succeed. Let's have a quick look at the goal, just to show you, and then we'll have a quick look at how that leaves us in the table. Paqueta through to Bowen. Bowen comes into the area. He's cuts it back, and it's comes through. Furnell's missed it, and it's come through, and it's Watkins tapping it in at the back post. It's a very soft goal in the end. Other notable score lines: Chelsea beating Liverpool by 3-0, which means that we are top of the table. We've played one more game than Manchester City again, but 4 points clear, which means if they win that game in hand, they still can't catch us. Manchester United are on 59 points. I think they lost to Tottenham. I think we said that, didn't we? Yeah, they're on 59 points. So we are 7 points clear of them as it stands. And because Liverpool lost to Chelsea, we are 8 points clear of Liverpool. And as it currently stands, we are 10 points clear of Tottenham in that 5th place outside of the Champions League places. So at the moment, we are pretty much 10 points securing that Champions League place. 9 games to go. So with that all in mind, let's have a look at what we've got coming up today then. I think we did have somewhere here. There we go. There is the fixtures for the Europa League. Games have been played. So there's 4 early games, 4 late games. The early games, Leipzig getting through 6-3 on aggregate against Atalanta. PSV Eindhoven beating Zagreb by 1-0. And Liverpool getting through in their group after a first leg loss 2-1. I think it was 1. Oh, it was a 1-1 draw, I think. Yeah, they got through 3-2, 2-1 on the evening, 3-2 on aggregate. And the other game that is concluded is Marseille beating Sporting Club Portugal by 1-0, 5-0 on aggregate. So that leaves us with tonight's matches. So let's go and have a look then at the team that will face Lens for the second leg. One that we need to win. And this is the side that will face Lens in this second leg of the Europa Last 16. It's Areola in goal. Creswell comes in place of Emerson on the left. Friedel, Zuma and Kufal are our defensive line. Souček, Carrera and Ward-Prowse are our central midfield. Benrahma comes in, giving Kudos a bit of a rest, and Kamada. We got options there in the attacking midfield. The other two don't seem to be doing a lot at the moment, hence why we've bought Benrahma, and he plays well with Creswell to boot. Bowen and Watkins reform the partnership up front. Trot, Mavropanos, Paqueta, Thomas, Alvarez, Kamada, Kudos, Emerson, Fornells, Neves, Johnson and Skulls make up the bench. And here we are. And confirmation of those teams for you. Playing our usual formation. Nothing changes, but they're playing that flat back three. Frank Hayes is the manager. Confirmation of the teams as the teams come onto the pitch. And our first highlight, Creswell with a cross, a very incisive cross. That's what he's good at. Souček, Carrera, Kufal. Kufal's into the area. Kufal has a shot. Goalkeeper saves it. It's gone out for a throw or a corner. I'm not sure which. It's gone for a corner. Ward-Prowse with a corner on that side. Swings it deep, but it's Carrera well under it and heads it well over. Souček bringing that down nicely. It was Kufal, lovely shot. A corner from that far side. Creswell on corner duty over there. Swings it in, near poster. Bowen brings it down. Carrera! Third goal of the season. And it gives us a 2-1 lead. After 12 minutes, it puts us nose in front in the tie. And a little bit better. Bowen bringing it down nicely. Cues up and he's fired that through a group of players. Souček now. Ward-Prowse. Carrera back to Ward-Prowse. Bowen goes out wide to Kufal. Kufal has been tackled, but he's come away with the ball. Gets across. It's deep to Souček. Souček! Oh, he's come off the post, I think. And it's not cleared yet. It's into touch. Friedel with a long throw. Throws it in. Souček heads it backwards, but Samba collects. And Lons with a highlight. He was picked off by Souček. He sort of hopped. I'm not sure what happened there, but got away with it. And Ward-Prowse. Ward-Prowse has Bowen out there. Bowen playing on the right of those two today. Ward-Prowse. Souček into the area. Souček puts it away. 17th goal of the season. And with 24 minutes on the clock, we are 3-1 in front in this tie. And it was expected that we would come back here and take by the scruff of the neck. But, yeah, Samba caught unawares, thought he was going to drill that. And a long ball forward by Lons. Zuma there tidying up. Ward-Prowse, Souček, Benrahma. Benrahma finds Watkins. Watkins tees himself up just a little bit high and wide. Vernet on that far side for Lons. They've not been totally out of it. And it's crossed in. And it's gone wide. No more highlights in this first half. Half time has arrived. 13 shots, 8 on target. 1.34 on the XG, 60% of the possession. They've had one shot, nothing on target, and 40% of the possession. We've got our foot into the next round, the last 8, the quarterfinals, I presume it will be. Yeah, of course it will be. The quarterfinals of the Europa League at the moment. Let's hope it doesn't go downhill in the second half. First highlight of this second half comes 47 minutes on the clock. Creswell with a corner. Swung in. Oh, and who was that? Headed it. Carrera, I think, headed it onto the post. But Benrahma puts his fourth goal of the season away. Makes it 3-0 on the night. 4-1 on aggregate. And we'll see that again from behind because it all happened very well. Creswell. Oh, it was Souček, actually. And Carrera managing to tee up Benrahma. Benrahma sweeps it into the net. Creswell. Friedel back to Creswell. 53 minutes on the clock. Souček, he's been tackled though. But it's a poor ball and Carrera comes careering into the penalty area. Looked like it might have been a penalty, but Ollie Watkins scores his 14th goal of the season. 4-0 on the night, 5-1 on anger. This is a bit more like it. This is what we were hoping for, is goals, a little bit of confidence. Oh, in fact, it was a good tackle by Mendy. Creswell with a throw-in to Watkins. Watkins to Bowen. Bowen is lost the ball, but goes back out to Creswell. Creswell to Carrera. Referee getting in the way. Carrera. Ward-Prowse. Bowen. He still can't hit the target. Carrera doing very well here. Lots of space. Ward-Prowse puts it in for Bowen. Bowen normally would just put them away. And with virtually 60 minutes on the clock, going to make 2 changes at this juncture in time. Souček is coming off. Bearing in mind that we have to think about the next game, which is Norwich in the FA Cup. So Souček, who's had a fantastic game, he's come off, and Alvarez replaces him. And Vladimir Kufal, also having a good game on that right-hand side, has been replaced by Ben Johnson, who's coming back from injury. And with 70 minutes on the clock, making 2 more changes, Gerard Bowen is coming on, and we are giving a debut to Thierry Neves up front, and we've also taken off at this juncture in time. We've also taken off Kurt Zuma, who is tiring, brought on Mavropanos. And with 81 minutes on the clock, making our final change, we have taken off James Ward-Prowse, who's had a reasonable game, but tiring, and we've brought on Lucas Paqueta. And we do get a highlight, but it's a highlight to Lens. Boulet, who's Diouf, Mendy, Wall, Carafe out there, and it's swung in, and they've got a Boulet, gets a goal back. Makes it 5-2 on aggregate. I think it's too little too late. We are in the last minute of normal time, but they've found a way back in. We found it difficult over the last 20-30 minutes, and there is no more highlights. It's all over, and they got that consolation goal after 90 minutes, making it 5-2 on aggregate, 4-1 on the night. 21 shots, 14 on target, 2.40 on the old XG, 60% of the possession. Give a debut to Thierry Neves as well. So he's played Europa League football. I'm not sure if that gets him a medal at the end of the season or not. Well, that's how the last 16 falls out. And, we join Leipzig, Eindhoven, Liverpool, Marseille, Ajax, Atletico Madrid and Roma in the draw for the quarterfinal. That will come up at the start of the next episode. In fact, it will be the quarterfinal and the semi-final, because I think, strangely enough, they draw them together. So we'll know who we've got if we get past whoever in the quarterfinal. But that's how it has all ended up. Let's have a look and see how the schedule falls out. We know we're coming back for Norwich and Manchester United in the next episode. We will then come back for a Europa League quarter-final episode where we play 2 games in the Europa League. I think we want to do that. It depends on how we're doing in the Premier League. It may well be that we might do it in 2 drips. So we might do Everton and a Europa League quarter-final, and then we might do the Europa League quarter-final second leg and Crystal Palace. As I said, it all depends. It's at the business end of the season, so we'll see how we go, and also depends on how we get on in the FA Cup quarter final. Of course, it's all happening here, and something you really, really don't want to miss. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, don't forget to leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That keeps you up to date with all future episodes of Irons in the Fire and our other series, Project Turnaround. And, of course, as Project Turnaround is coming to the end of its series, we will find out what we're going to do with our next FM24 save. So stay tuned and keep up to date with all that's going on to find out what's happening there. leave me a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see me do for FM24 Next Save. Best way to keep up to date with everything that's happening on this channel is to follow me on Twitter at JustOffsideToo. New episodes of Irons in the Fire will be released every Monday and Thursday at 4:15 p.m. Our next episode, episode 17, out on Thursday. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.